This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast.
All right, Fact Check This, and I am back. And, you know, they always say the new year, new me thing. Well, for me, it's a bit different. Very much a new year, very much a new me, in that I had my surgery on my esophagus about a month ago, for those who remember and paid attention. And part of the reason why I was kind of sparse with content and everything in 2025 was I was slowly but surely starving to death throughout the entire course of the year, while my esophagus was completely closed up and not letting anything get through. So I had surgery almost exactly a month ago. I had surgery on December 12th, and they ran a scope down my esophagus. My doctor said the surgeon had to cut. He had to start about 2 inches above where he needed to really get in, and then they cut 4 inches of my esophagus, and not cut it off, but like cut into the muscle tissue to get it where it was completely closed off. Had to cut into the muscle tissue to get it to release, so that it wasn't just completely constricted. And then 4 inches of the esophagus itself, plus he had to go into my stomach, down through the opening between the stomach and the esophagus, go down in there another inch and cut back up, and then to get everything to release, so that my esophagus wasn't just completely closed off and nothing would get through. And then it took 5 surgical clips to put it all back together. And then after that, I got to do a week of liquid diet only, and then another week after that of only soft foods. So Christmas Day was the first day that I was able to actually have real food. And I lost even more weight than I had already lost during that whole liquid diet part of that. And it was a rough go of things, but I am completely on the mend. I'm feeling a lot better, eating normal, starting to gain weight again. Everything's good. My doctor, talking about the 4 inches of the esophagus having to be cut, my doctor said she's had 2 other patients in her career that have had to have this surgery. And that was something that it's pretty rare. They don't know why the esophagus does what mine did. Again, it's pretty rare. And at this point, modern medicine has no idea why it happens. It just happens. I happened to be one of the unlucky ones that had it happen. But my doctor, she said she's had 2 other patients in her career that have had to have this surgery. And both of them, they had to have about an inch cut. So I had to have 4 inches. Mine was just completely, the doctor told my wife after the surgery, he's like, it was just completely closed off. Like he didn't know how I was getting anything into my system at all, period. So it was pretty fucking bad. But I am on the mend and feeling a lot better, starting to get strength back. You can, for those who watch the video, you can see the stationary bike, the rowing machine. I've got a weight set off to the side over there. I've been working out daily, trying to get back to building up my weight and feeling more like 2024 me, when I was in really good physical shape, more so than 2025 me, who spent the year starving to death. So it's been a heck of a journey. But with that being said, I should be back on a much more normal rotation with putting out episodes every week, getting my Substack out every week. I've got a piece for Substack that my buddy Mark Metz is doing a monthly publication. And I'm going to be writing some stuff for Mark for that. The publication is called Appeals, and I will include the link for it in the show notes. So if you are interested in, Mark has written for Mises Institute and a couple other websites and stuff over the years, and had several pieces be published with them talking about different like cultural things and stuff that's going on in the world, on looking at culture and politics as they intersect with a lot of things in the United States. Mark and I have also done several episodes of this show where we've talked about science fiction literature. We've talked about history. We did an episode on Napoleon. We did an episode on Richard Nixon. Like, Mark's very sharp, knows what he's doing with this stuff, and so he's putting out a monthly publication. And I'm going to be writing some for that. So I've got a piece that'll be going in the February one. I will put the link in if you're interested in that. It has physical copy or also digital copy if you don't want to actually get something in the mail. But anyway, that's some of what I got going on this year. And let's go ahead and kick this year off with our first episode. And it's an article from Axios that I find Axios interesting in the way that they have a tendency to completely miss the point. They'll report something, and when you read it, it's like you completely whiffed on why this was important and why this should have been a story, and you ran with the wrong spin, which is mainstream media as a whole. Speaking of, mainstream media might be starting to have a slight turn back to sanity. We've seen CNN and CBS both have started to course correct a little bit, at least with the things that they say publicly about how they're going to go about reporting the news. We'll see if 2026 actually bears any fruit on that. But some of these mainstream media companies are starting to figure out that they can't just keep running leftist spin nonstop. People are trust in the news media has reached possibly all-time lows, like historical all-time lows. And they're starting to realize that, yeah, if we're just running cover for like liberal spin, then people aren't going to pay attention to us. They're not going to listen to us, especially when in the age of podcasts and Twitter and everything, social media, when they can go get real news from other places. If we continue to show them that we're not trustworthy, they're just going to cut us out entirely. So CNN, CBS, some of the others, they're actually saying the right things. Now, whether or not they actually do anything about it, we'll see. But I don't think Axios has any interest in saying or doing the right things. They're going to just run full fucking spin as long as they can. Speaking of, let's go ahead and spin, baby. How Trump flipped America's race conversation. President Trump's cabinet applauded him this week after he described Somali immigrants as garbage who contribute nothing. Seems pretty accurate, right? The president unapologetically condemned an entire community on the basis of ethnicity with no fear of political backlash. See, the problem is we're judging them by the content of their character, and their character is that they are garbage who contribute nothing. In fact, for the handful who may actually contribute something, when you look at the ones who are committing fraud and the extent to which they're committing fraud, it's still a net negative. So they are contributing nothing. Why it matters. This is the dumbest shit. Why it matters is the dumbest shit ever. Guardrails against racist, xenophobic, or dehumanizing rhetoric have all but vanished on the American right. What was once disqualifying or the exclusive domain of online trolls is now a fixture of national political discourse. The things that need to be guardrailed against, as far as Axios is concerned, are absolute horseshit, but here we are. Flashback. Before Trump came on the scene in 2015, it was common in modern American politics for elected or appointed officials to face consequences for making racist or bigoted comments. As far back as 1976, Secretary of Agriculture Earl Butz was forced to resign after telling a racist joke about Black Americans on a flight returning from the GOP convention. In 2002, GOP Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott was pressured to step down after praising Strom Thurmond's 1948 segregationist presidential campaign. Even during Trump's first term, Representative Steve King of Iowa was censured and removed from committees for questioning why terms such as white nationalist and white supremacist had become offensive. If you know what Trent Lott actually said in regards to that, not specifically praising segregation, the segregationist part of Strom Thurmond's campaign. If you have a brain to ask, what does white nationalist and white supremacist even have to do with anything at all? Why are we making these like such offensive terms that when they carry no weight and mean nothing? I don't know anything about the Earl Butts thing, and I didn't take time to go look at it. Like, why are these things that result in people having to step down and be censured and be punished for just saying things, right? So this isn't like some reversing course on race on being anti-racist or whatever, which anti-racist is the most ignorant fucking term I've ever heard. It's just bringing back common sense to, hey, people say shit. That doesn't mean anything half the time. But Trump himself has been largely impervious to those norms, with public outrage over his caustic language growing more muted year after year. Trump vaulted into political prominence by promoting the racist conspiracy theory that President Obama wasn't born in the U.S., a playbook he revived in 2024 against other rivals of color. Suggesting that Obama wasn't born in the United States wasn't some racially motivated thing. And it's not even that big of a conspiracy theory. And whether or not they say that they've debunked it or whatever, it's not something that's offensive. Controversial? Maybe a little bit. It's not something that's disqualifying because it's racist to suggest that Obama may not have been born in the U.S. That's not racist. Sorry. Fuck you, Axios. In his 2016 campaign opening claim that Mexico was sending rapists into the U.S. triggered weeks of national uproar. Except that they were, or at the very least, not sending them, if not sending them, at the very least, allowing them to cross our border unimpeded. As did his leaked complaint in 2018 about immigration from shithole countries. Except that they are objectively shithole countries. This isn't offensive to say that rapists were coming from Mexico when rapists were verifiably coming from Mexico. It's not offensive to refer to Haiti as a shithole country when objectively all you have to do is look at pictures of the place and it's obviously a fucking dump. Straight up shithole. Then came the 2024 election campaign, which blew open the Overton window on race and identity. Trump discarded any lingering restraint, declaring that unauthorized immigrants were poisoning the blood of our country, echoing a Nazi theme, and amplifying false claims that Haitian migrants in Ohio were eating pets. Except that all of that is, again, objectively true. And while they continue to say that they're false claims, they're literally on video, and there were literally charges filed against these Haitian immigrants for eating fucking pets. Like, you keep saying false claims, and then the police reports indicate that they weren't false. Just because you keep saying over and over again that it was false doesn't mean that you're right. Conservatives mobilized around backlash to the 2020 racial justice movement, the Biden administration's immigration policies, and perceived censorship of political speech by the left. Well, the 2020 racial justice movement deserved all the backlash because they burned down literal cities and did billions of dollars in damage, while accomplishing absolutely nothing. The Biden administration's immigration policy didn't exist. It was just let everybody come who wants to and fuck everything up. And censorship of political speech by the left has been going on. They even removed Trump from Twitter for nothing, for main tweets. Like, none of this is untrue, is the problem that Axios and all the rest of the left have with this. Trump's MAGA movement treated his 2024 win as a sweeping cultural mandate and grew more explicit in their mission to defend Western civilization and preserve white Christian identity. Except that that's not what they took that as. This is a reversal, not of anti-racism or what the fuck ever you want to call it. This is a reversal of microaggressions and treating everything like words are violence and all of that shit. People can say stuff. Also, if you say stuff that's objectively true, just because it hurts people's feelings doesn't mean that it's something bad. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't be punished for saying things that are truthful, even if they hurt people's feelings. Sorry, fuck you. Your feelings don't matter. They never have, and they never will. That's the reality of life, just for anybody who was curious. Your feelings really don't fucking matter whatsoever. The only person that your feelings affect is you, and then the only reason that affects anybody else is because you make it affect other people. But really, your feelings are worth about as much as the garbage immigrants coming from shithole countries. Hey, see how I turned it all back around? Nearly a year into Trump's second term, language that once led to denials, clarifications, or resignations now circulates freely online at the highest levels of government. As well it should. Do not apologize, clarify, resign just because you said something that hurt somebody's feelings. Tell them to take their feelings and stick them up their fucking ass. GOP members of Congress reacted to New York Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani's election by posting images of the 9/11 attacks and calling for the Ugandan-born Democrat to be denaturalized and deported. Fucking A right. That's based as shit. We shouldn't be allowing people that aren't born in the United States to hold office in the United States anyway. Fuck that shit. The Department of Homeland Security and White House social media accounts now routinely mock immigrants targeted for deportation, deploying trollish memes on official channels. And it's the most beautiful thing ever. Whoever's running the White House and Homeland Security social media accounts deserves a raise. Like, just keep giving them raises. Every time another liberal posts one of their, reposts one of their things crying about it, they should get another raise. Just keep bumping these motherfuckers. Like, more power to you, more money to you. Keep making them cry. White nationalist Nick Fuentes has edged into the mainstream, with Trump defending the Holocaust denier's interview with Tucker Carlson as legitimate political dialogue. There is no way you don't listen to or watch that interview and understand why it's important to politics and culture in America. And if you don't understand its importance, it's because you're some TDS, brainwashed, liberal fucking psycho that has completely lost grip on the reality that we face as a country, that has completely lost the pulse of what's going on in the country, that has totally lost the plot. And you are one of these that I talked about it on Pelling Fiction on Tuesday, that what I really want to see is Trump to take a couple weeks to just fuck with people. Come out on Monday and reverse course on something that he's been firm on for the last 6-8 years. Just reverse course. And watch the left spin on its head and start protesting the thing that just yesterday they supported. And then give it 3 or 4 days and then change again and go back and say, after further review of the information available and yada, 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 blah, 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 I actually realized that I was right to begin with. So, and reverse course again and go back to the original and watch them go from protesting against the thing that he just changed course on 3 days ago to now having to spin around and start protesting again back in favor of the thing that they had originally, like, do that 2 or 3 times over the course of a couple weeks, just to watch them have to run back and forth to defend something that they don't know or even care anything about. Just because Trump said it, they have to take the opposite position. That's what I want to see. Like, troll the ever-loving fuck out of these people and make and highlight just how fucking insane they are. The ones who don't understand the significance of Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes having that conversation are so bogged down in that TDS that they have lost the bigger picture of what's going on in the United States right now. And those are the people that make me not have a whole lot of concern about the midterms, because they will find a way between now and November to undermine any momentum that the Democrats have gained by, Trump not releasing the Epstein files or not doing this or that or whatever, like things that nobody realistically thought were going to happen, right? Like, did you really think any of that was going to happen? Maybe you've lost touch with reality. Anyway, in a Thanksgiving post on his Truth Social, Trump claimed that most of America's 53 million foreign-born residents are on welfare from failed nations, from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. I mean, I can't say most, but it seems like based on information we've gotten over the last 3 to 4 months, a significant number are on welfare. Most are most definitely from failed nations. A significant number were former inmates or have drug ties or gang ties. So is most the right word? Maybe not. But objectively, there are a significant number who fit all of these criteria. Again, we're not going to punish people for saying things that are objectively true anymore, just because it hurts the feelings of some dainty little fuckwit liberals. White House spokesperson. Oh, here we go. I missed one. He blasted Americans who have been politically correct on immigration, labeled Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz as seriously retarded, and mocked Representative Ilhan Omar as always wrapped in her swaddling hijab. These things are funny as fuck. You should absolutely blast and mock people for being politically correct. Tim Walz might actually be retarded, and Ilhan Omar should be deported in her swaddling hijab. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson told Axios in a statement, "It's not racist to want secure borders and to deport illegal aliens who are undermining our sovereignty and destroying our country. President Trump has never been politically correct, never holds back, and in large part, the American people reelected him for his transparency. It is not racist to want to secure our borders and deport illegal aliens." Correct. It's not racist to speak truthfully. And if you think it is, you're a fucking retard, just like Tim Walz. Immigrant and civil rights advocates say the president's incendiary rhetoric on race has manifested in policies that privilege white people. This is a big eye roller here. After slashing the U.S. refugee cap to a historic low of 7,500, the Trump administration said it would prioritize white South Africans for nearly all available slots. Okay. I mean, where are most of these people coming from who are seeking these refugee status? Haiti, self-inflicted. And also there are other countries neighboring them where they should actually be able to go to. So why don't they? Because those countries won't allow them in because they know they're absolute shithole people. These white South Africans don't have somewhere else to flee to that is similar to them as far as demographics go. So it makes sense to bring them here. Also, if you look at what's been going on in South Africa, they're literally trying to genocide all of the white people out of the country. So yeah, they probably need to be getting the fuck out of there as quickly as they can, and this is a safe place for them. That shouldn't be controversial, right? They're literally being hunted and killed there. Most of these other places, they have like the Middle Eastern countries, all of these refugees there. There are a million other Middle Eastern countries that are predominantly Islamic there. All of these refugees could go to anywhere, literally anywhere else there. Like, okay, your country's at war right now and things are bad. Well, go to that one or that one or that one. Oh, all of those are also at war and things are really bad. Maybe it's a cultural problem for y'all and y'all need to stay the fuck over there and just deal with it instead of coming over here and bringing that shit here. Yeah. Good luck. Fuck off. Same for the Somalis. Same for like the South Africans are a uniquely different problem than what the rest of them are. So yeah, those are actually people who need refuge. So let's go get them. Cool. The administration has gutted major pillars of American civil rights protection and racial equality infrastructure, wiping away public data, slashing research funding, and recasting Black history. Except that that's not what's been done. They decided not to promote and push propagandist bullshit that was never truthful to begin with. They decided that we're going to actually have a more meritocracy-based system rather than allowing reverse racism and using all of these standards that don't actually set a standard other than allow X number of people in because you have to, regardless of whether they're the most qualified or the best person for the job. Let's start actually letting the best people do the job, not the person who checks all the right boxes. Again, these aren't controversial things. See, the big problem is it's not that Trump has flipped the race conversation. It's not that Trump is making things more racist. It's that Trump is being honest, and the system is starting to become more based on honesty and objectivity and not all of these ridiculous bullshit ideas that have governed us for the last 20 years and put us in a position of now we fucking suck. Like allowing people to come based on nothing and become leeches on our system and get jobs when they aren't qualified, or especially like not being the best qualified is one thing. Not being qualified at all, but just checking the right boxes, which is what seems to happen a lot of times. That's like, these are objective problems that resulted in the erosion of America as a strong society. And now we're getting away from all that bullshit. And the left just can't handle it. Like, honesty and meritocracy are not in their best interest, and they are losing it. And it is beautiful. That'll do it for today. I will be back next Thursday. Actually, I got two different ones that I was thinking about talking about next Thursday, and I want to know. Send me a message on Facebook or Twitter, X, whatever. There's one about the Lord of the Rings. It's from Vox. It says the right is obsessed with Lord of the Rings, but they don't understand it. I have read stuff from leftist nut jobs explaining the Lord of the Rings before, and they might be some of the most delusional, insane people on the fucking planet. So if you want to hear me talk about the Lord of the Rings and how the right gets it wrong when they don't, let me know about that. Or the other one is it's more of a, I don't know, heartwarming kind of a story. I thought my marriage was broken, and then I decided to stay in it. It's it's a story from a woman who is talking about how she like listened to all the cultural thing of telling her she needed to divorce her husband, that she deserved better, and she decided to like stick around and actually work on it, and figured out, holy shit, like maybe I was the fucking problem. So I can go one way or the other. Jim's already voting for Lord of the Rings, and that's probably the direction I was going to lean anyway, but I wanted to give an option for anybody that gives a fuck. And if nobody messages me, then Jim wins by a vote of 1-0. In the meantime, go check out my Substack. I put out a thing about Jesus being a refugee a couple weeks ago, and I've got I'll be starting up on the 2 Timothy. I'll be doing 2 Timothy chapter 1 this weekend, and then we'll go through the entire book of Timothy. If you want to skip chapter 1, feel free. There's not a whole lot of real strong content in chapter 1 as far as stuff I normally write about, but I do want to talk about Paul and where he was at the time of writing 2 Timothy and some of the context for it. So if you if you want to skip the first chapter of 2 Timothy, that's fine. I'll be getting into more of 2 Timothy in the weeks ahead. Jay, we're voting on, do you want to hear about the right and their obsession with the Lord of the Rings, or a woman who thought she should get divorced and then stuck around and realized that she was the problem? Let me know. In the meantime, have a great rest of your week, a good weekend. We are doing a happy hour tomorrow night for the morning show. We'll be playing Cards Against Humanity or Jackbox, some other game. We'll be doing a game night. If you are interested in joining us for the games, we have a Discord server for the morning after, and I don't have the link to that, so just handy. So again, you have to message me for that, and you can play games with us too. That'll do it for today. Have a great weekend, everybody. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow night. Later.